by the will of the Omnissiah and the authority of the Holy Ordos, I address you. I am Magos Archivus, a data priest of the Adeptus Mechanicus, here to transmit historical and technological lore. Let no falsehood escape your lips, for the machine spirit tolerates no deceit. Know that the purity of the machine is eternal, while flesh is fallible. This is a short story of the Glory of Terra. The battlefield of Isstvan V was a shattered hellscape of blood and ash. The sky was bruised purple, cut through by arcs of energy from warring ships above, and the ground was churned into a blackened, smoking slurry of shattered bodies, broken war machines and burning forests. The air itself screamed with the unholy cacophony of war, the guttural roars of traitor space marines, the harsh staccato of bolter fire, and the deafening thunder of heavy artillery. But amidst the carnage there was something else, a sound that transcended the rest, a low hum that grew to a mighty roar. The ground trembled, the very sky seemed to darken further, as if the gods themselves bowed in deference to the oncoming force. A silhouette emerged through the smoky haze, impossibly vast, towering higher than any fortress or bastion of man. It was an Imperator-class Titan, Glory of Terra, a mechanical god of war in service to the Emperor. Its legs, thicker than city blocks, crushed the wreckage of tanks and fallen Astartes as though they were mere twigs. With each colossal step, the earth beneath it cracked and groaned, fissures spreading outward in its wake. Bloodied rivers formed where it had tread, washing away the dying screams of those caught in its path. Atop the monstrous behemoth, its cathedral-like command spire gleamed, adorned with Gothic statues and massive banners bearing the Aquila, symbols of the Emperor's will made manifest. On the battlefield below, loyalist forces, Emperor's children, Iron Hands and Salamanders, rallied around the god machine's presence. Their faith surged at the sight of it, a beacon of hope against the traitorous forces of Horus. The Titan's primary armament, the plasma annihilator, hummed to life with a sound that reverberated deep within the chest. Its colossal barrel glowed a blinding gold as it charged, the energy within building to apocalyptic levels. A blast of superheated plasma, the size of a city block, erupted from the weapon, searing through the air, and obliterated an entire regiment of traitor legions in a single blinding flash. Where once there were hundreds of armored warriors, towering dreadnoughts and land raiders, now only a smoking crater remained. Molten slag dripped from where the plasma had burned so hot that it turned metal to liquid. Even traitors encased in tactical dreadnought armor were vaporized, their screams lost in the roar of the annihilator. Yet the slaughter did not end there. The Glory of Terra's other weapon, a hellstorm cannon, belched forth torrents of Promethean fire. The gout of flame engulfed the battlefield in a hellish inferno, burning friend and foe alike as it swept across the landscape. Loyalist soldiers ducked and sought shelter beneath the wrecks of downed vehicles, but there was no hiding from the Titan's wrath. Traitor Astartes ran screaming as their power armor warped and cracked under the heat, molten ceramite fusing with their flesh in a sickening display of agony. Above, high atop the Titan's command spire, the Princeps stood in his throne, connected to the war machine by a web of cables and neurolinks. His senses were not his own. He was the Titan. He could feel its every movement as if they were his own limbs. The power coursing through him was intoxicating. Every step crushed dozens beneath its feet. Every volley from its weapons silenced thousands of traitors, and the battlefield itself seemed to cower before its might. The Princeps grinned, his eyes flicking toward the traitorous Warhound and Reaver Titans advancing across the plain. Smaller, more agile perhaps, but no match for the Imperator. He reached out with a thought, commanding the Titan's vast arsenal to focus on the incoming threats. A cacophony of secondary batteries, volcano cannons, laser blasters, and missile pods unleashed a storm of firepower. The Warhound Titan, attempting to flank the giant, was hit square in the chest by a volley of missiles. The explosion was instant and catastrophic, its armor buckling inward, its body consumed in fire. It crumpled like a wounded animal, collapsing to the ground in a burst of flame and twisted metal. Its crew inside died in an instant, their bodies liquefied by the internal fires. The Reaver Titan fared little better. A direct hit from the Glory of Terra's volcano cannon tore through its void shields and ripped a hole through its core reactor. The explosion was a thunderous detonation that echoed across the battlefield, its fiery death throes lighting up the darkening sky. But even as the Glory of Terra continued its rampage, the forces of Horus rallied. From the shadows of broken mountains and jagged cliffs, traitor space marines began to converge. Sons of Horus, World Eaters and Death Guard surged forward, their tanks, heavy armor and infantry pressing towards the legs of the great war machine. Lasfire and plasma rounds peppered its thick armor, and melter bombs detonated near its feet in futile efforts to slow the Titan's march. Yet they were gnats before a god. The Glory of Terra retaliated, launching more volleys of plasma and ordnance into the traitor lines. Explosions painted the battlefield in waves of fire and blood. The death toll was staggering. Entire companies of traitor Astartes vanished in an instant, their bodies reduced to shredded chunks of gore and bone. The battlefield was a scene of utter devastation. Mountains of corpses, rivers of blood, and the scent of burnt ozone and seared flesh filled the air. The Imperator Titan stood tall amidst it all, an unstoppable avatar of death and destruction. The battlefield of Isstvan V was a scene of absolute devastation as the Glory of Terra, an Imperator-class Titan, unleashed its unstoppable fury. Towering over the carnage, the Titan obliterated traitor forces, reducing Warhound and Reaver Titans to wreckage and vaporizing entire companies of traitor Astartes with volleys of plasma and ordnance. Despite desperate attacks from the Sons of Horus, World Eaters, and Death Guard, their efforts were futile. Amidst mountains of corpses and rivers of blood, the Glory of Terra stood as an unstoppable avatar of destruction, ensuring victory in the Emperor's name. Our work here is concluded. Let no heretical cogitator taint your mind, for the Omnissiah sees all. Remember, the price of impurity is destruction, and the path to redemption is through unwavering service to the machine god and the Emperor. Fail not in your vigilance, for the machine spirit is eternal, and those who stray from its sacred truth will be found and purged. In the name of the Omnissiah, like and subscribe. You are dismissed.